Hi, today I'm going to tell you something very interesting. So, this incident happened with me on the road. I was driving, and a woman got angry at me, and I also got angry in return. Today, I'll tell you how I dealt with it. There are some amazing principles of life that can be learned from this whole incident. So, I'll tell you the story, and then I'll tell you 9 points that you can learn. Let's begin with the story. So I was driving in the rightmost lane and I saw some space on my left side, and the left lane was also moving faster. So I thought I would make a lane change. And I know usually lane changes are tricky, but I saw enough space and I just turned my car a little bit. Then in that lane, probably the woman behind she saw me changing the lane and she probably thought that she would lose her spot. So she quickly sped up. So she caught up with me, and as she was crossing me, she gives me this look. Like, that was a proper angry look. And that caught me off guard. Like, what just happened here? Now I know lane changes can be tricky, but if you do it gently, kind of like with consent of other people, then it's fine, and people change lanes all the time. So I just didn't know what I had done, and like, why would she react this way? So she went her way, I went my own. But this 1 second interaction, this left me really angry. So as I'm driving, I'm thinking, how dare she look at me like that, or just give me that expression? Like, what have I done? And I had the instincts to just chase her car and pull up next to her and just ask, what the hell, lady? Like, what was that for? Like, I was feeling attacked and I just wanted to say something. But of course, I didn't chase her car. Thankfully, I continued on my own way. And then I just noticed my own anger. Oops, I am really angry at this. So let's work on it. Which brings us to the 9 points that I told myself to deal with the whole situation. So the point number 9 is, I have to try my best to stay calm unconditionally. See, the moment I notice that I'm getting angry, my blood is boiling, I realize that, wait, this cannot be the best response to deal with this situation. Because my general principle in life is, no matter what the situation is, you can always deal with it calmly. You can solve the biggest problem, you can face the biggest obstacles, you can deal with the most difficult people on earth with a calm and collected attitude. You basically never need anger. That's what I aspire to. So because that aspiration is so deep in me, whenever I do get angry or irritated, that aspiration kicks in and reminds me, wait, you're doing something wrong, ting ting, ting ting, you need to find a way to stay calm. So this is actually the 9th point, because if you don't have that aspiration that no matter what happens, I'll try to stay calm, you would not even care about staying calm. You would just find your anger justified and you'll just move on with your life. So this is why developing the intention to stay calm no matter what is key, is foundational. Point number 8. Her anger is primarily coming because of herself. See, whenever you see others' anger towards you, it of course seems like an attack. And then you become angry that, how dare you get angry at me? I have not done anything wrong. I'm such a nice, good, fair person. How can I become the cause of someone else's anger? You need to start seeing others' anger in the context of their own psychology. Like, their anger is ultimately the result of their own desires and beliefs interacting with their environment. Their anger is coming through the interaction of their emotional and rational systems. Like, this is how their brain is processing information. It's about them, not me. That woman had some desires in life. The desire was to, let's say, ride smoothly, get to her home quickly, and not having anybody cut in front of her. Those were her conscious or unconscious desires. The moment I tried to change the lane, I was an obstacle in her desire, and it's human nature to get frustrated when there is an obstacle in your desires. Also, in her brain, somebody changing the lane, possibly at her cost, is a big deal. She won't allow it. So she'll stand up for her own lane. Or maybe simply she just had a fight at her home and she just displays that anger on me. I don't know. But what I do know is, it's primarily coming because of her own psychology. And this view helps me separate myself from the situation. I'm able to remember it's not about me, it's about her. Point number 7 is closely related, which is, when she shows anger, the problem is with her emotional regulation skills. See, the basic idea in our life is, yes, things will irritate us, make us frustrated, angry, but you behave yourself. You act civil in front of others, in front of strangers. You don't just let it out like that. So even if me changing the lane irritated her a little bit, she should have acted politely. She could have let it go. She didn't have to show that expression. That would have been the civil and polite thing, because again, it was not that big of a deal. But she does not have those emotion regulation skills. In her current repertoire of skills, the way to express displeasure to a stranger is by frowning. Well, that's what she knows. What can I do about it? Again, it's about her, not me. Now, point number 6, I really need to look at it neutrally, basically removing myself from the situation. This is probably one of the best tools for rationality. Whenever you are assessing a situation in which you are involved and you are angry or emotional, the best way to get an objective view is removing yourself from the situation and doing the same analysis. So let's do this. What if I was at a distance and I was seeing this interaction from, let's say, 3 cars behind, that somebody is cutting in and then somebody else is frowning at that person. So let's look at the whole situation as if this is not happening to me, to 2 other people, and I'm looking at the situation from just 1 car behind. So I see somebody trying to change the lane and then somebody else stopping them and frowning at them. Now when I look at that frown or that anger, what would that make me feel? Would I have the same response as I did before when it happened to me? Obviously not, because this time I would probably be just amused by the situation. I'll probably laugh at it, or I'll just brush it off thinking, oh, this person is so reactive. So for the same incident, why was my reaction so different? It was different obviously because I am not involved. The attack is not on me, so I'm just cool and collected. And what I'm saying is we can do the exact same thing when we are involved too. Because think about that. For her, the woman that frowned, she was not frowning at me. How can I take it personally? She would have done the same thing with any other human being. So it's really not about me. It's about her reacting to some entity changing the lane. So I really need to be logically consistent here. Just because I am involved in the situation does not increase the severity of the crime, does it? If I can brush aside her frowning when somebody else is involved, I can brush it aside when I am involved also. I need to apply the same principles in every situation. Point number 5, I need to move from anger towards her to compassion towards her. Now, this obviously seems counterintuitive. Somebody is irritated at you. Why would you be compassionate? Well, in that situation, something happened which led that other person to feel angry. They went through a negative state of mind. Like it could have happened with me, without me, but they did go through some negative experience. And that's where the compassion comes. You feel bad because she felt bad. And think about this. If she's a woman who is so reactive, who gets offended so quickly, she probably does that in her personal life too. Right? With her own relationship, with her child, with her husband, with her parents, with her siblings. And if somebody gets angry so quickly, that does not seem like a very calm, peaceful, happy life. There must be a lot of anger in her, and sounds like a tougher life. And I can have compassion for that. Point number 4, the objective harm here was 0. So when somebody acts aggressive with you, your focus shouldn't be, how dare you? Your focus should be, how dangerous is this for me? What level of threat it really is to my body, to my resources, or to my loved ones? What is the objective damage that it's causing me? And right now, we're not taking the damage to the mind in account because that's exactly the thing that we're trying to eliminate. Let's focus on the objective damage. Did she touch me? No. Did she break my car? No. Did she come to my house or break things or do something with my family? No, she did not. All she did was give me an angry expression. That caused 0 objective damage to my life. Why should I go into a fight or flight response? This is no threat. This fight or flight response was useful thousands of years ago, where somebody else's angry expression could mean they could murder you, take away your resources. They could kill you and your children and take the territory. You had to do something about it. But in today's modern, safe societies, somebody's angry expression pretty much means nothing to you. So we need to calibrate our responses, keeping the magnitude of threat in mind. If the threat is 0, then your need to fight back must be 0. Point number 3, there is no need to fight for your reputation. Quite often, people fight back immediately because they want to send a message that you can't mess with me. Nobody can mess with me. If you so much as raise your eyebrows at me, you're gonna regret it. I must ask you, what world are you living in? What will you do with this reputation? Nobody cares. In this day and age, issues and fights are not resolved through fighting or mutual combat. You are almost preparing your reputation for battles and wars that will never come. Like I said earlier, we live in very different societies now than we did thousands of years back. So come out of your war and battle zone. You do not need any reputation of being strong. Let anyone think whatever they want about you. It does not affect your well-being, your resources. Remember the incident when in the Academy Awards, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock? What happened to their reputations? Well, it turns out the stronger guy, Will Smith, ended up ruining his reputation, and Chris Rock actually sold way more tickets than he used to before. That is in the immediate aftermath of the incident. People supported Chris Rock more, who did not fight back at all. So in this modern society, our sensibilities have changed. People who are calm, nice, supportive, generous, empathetic, cooperative, those people get better reputations. Not people who are just this alpha, brute force, toxic domination over others, not people who dominate others or are aggressive or violent. And on top of this, she doesn't even know me. She was a stranger that met me for 1 second. She doesn't know where I live. She doesn't know what I do. How does my reputation matter in front of her? The most she will do is go home and bitch about me to somebody that also doesn't know me at all. So basically, stay calm, stop worrying about your reputation. Point number 2, I can't fix her. What if I actually chased her car and pulled up next to her and said, "What's the problem with you, lady? Is that how you behave?" In your mind, you feel like I want to teach them the right lesson. But could I have really taught her something? Would me fighting back teach her to not mess with strangers? Probably. But it could probably teach her the opposite lesson as well, which is most of the people on the road are selfish jerks who don't see their own mistakes and come to fight back. Maybe me fighting back would make her even more defensive next time with other strangers. Who knows? And also, just because I came across her for less than a minute, why is it on me to teach her anything at all? It's her life, let her do whatever she wants. It's not on me to do her therapy. Well, if she pays me, of course I'll do it. I'm not gonna do it for free. So I need to just mind my own business. And point number 1, this shift from anger to calmness is for my own mental and physical health. And this point is super important because quite often in such situations, you feel like by not reacting or by not giving somebody a befitting reply or by not standing up for yourself, you're making a sacrifice. You're becoming this bigger person. You're taking the higher road. And I'm telling you, it's not a sacrifice. If you think about it in the long run, I'm actually being purely selfish, because if I get angry like that frequently in order to chase my reputation or justice of some kind, I will end up creating these stress responses in my body very, very frequently. And if you go through stress frequently, it's detrimental for your mental and physical health. There is so much scientific literature on this now. One of the reasons people with trauma, they face so many health conditions is because their body is just under constant stress responses. Like even in the face of neutral things, their body goes into fight or flight, and that wreaks a havoc on their biology. So staying calm is the selfish thing. That's not the sacrifice. In fact, by getting angry, you are sacrificing your own health and mental health. So I'm telling you, be selfish and find a way to stay calm. So these were some of the points that I thought to myself right there and then, and I transitioned from anger to a calm state. See, this kind of self-therapy is super important because if I had not done this, first of all, I would have stayed in that angry state for much longer. And next time some other stranger frowned at me, I would have the same angry response. I would not improve at all. But because I went through this self-therapy, now my rational brain is slightly stronger. See, in situations like these, your emotional brain acts first. That is the immediate response. And your rational brain falls behind. That's simply how our brain is wired for threats. But by doing this exercise, I made my rational brain slightly stronger. Next time, I'm less likely to have this emotional response because my brain next time would not even look at the frown of somebody as a threat. And since I don't perceive it as a threat, my stress response, my fight or flight probably wouldn't even kick in. And if it does kick in, it may not be as intense. So I am a work in progress, but every time I do this, I keep getting stronger. Now, before you flight from this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. A very important factor in mental peace is that instead of just thinking internally, you should be able to talk about your frustrations to someone. But sometimes your friends and family can get tired of listening or might not even understand you well. That's why you should talk to a therapist. Your emotions need regular air ventilation. Your thoughts need regular garbage disposal, like once every week with a trained therapist. At Shridhar Life School, we have a team of therapists that you can talk to. Please go to shridharlifeschool.com to book your sessions.